Good afternoon, my brothers, sisters, my fellow humanity. This is Dr. Jamal Omar. I'm coming to you from beautiful Saudi Arabia with a special message for everyone around the globe. I've been watching a lot that's been going on the news lately, and there's been some disturbing things that I've been seeing. Myself, I grew up my whole entire life in America. I grew up in a small little farm town in Michigan, went to high school, played football, basketball, baseball. After high school, I decided to join the US military. I did my service to my country in that, and then I see people like Donald Trump wanting to ban all Muslims from the United States. This brings up some questions I have in mind about even his own loyalty to the United States of America. See, if I look at my own ancestry, my mother's side of the family is Cherokee from my grandmother, and from my grandfather, he's a Cree Indian. So these were Native Americans. They were there long before the Western Europeans came. Then on my father's side, he was a German immigrant. In fact, my grandfather was a World War II vet. He actually married a woman from Austria, Germany. And my father is German, and his sister were both adopted by my grandmother and my grandfather. And I think about these immigrants that came, and they came with their histories, they came with their past, they came with their culture, their heritage, and that's what actually makes America great. Yet, not only Donald Trump's not the only problem. The problem is that there are so many people inside of America that actually agree with this fear-mongering. And I think Franklin Delano Roosevelt said it best. He said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And it's amazing, if we look at what has been happening throughout the history of America, we see that fear has guided the people to do some very bad things. It guided the Puritans when they came on the Mayflower to go ahead and slaughter the Native Americans. It guided Christopher Columbus to do the same thing. It guided 400, 500 years of institutional racism that started with slavery, and then continues to go on today, where police officers, the ones who are supposed to be protecting and serving, are the ones that are killing unarmed black people. And so there's a big issue here that has been going on for a long period of time. And all of this is based off this whole system of fear. And unless we go ahead and root out the root of fear, which is basically ignorance and also misunderstanding, then we're going to continue to have these problems. Now, I'm in a unique position here. I decided to take some employment overseas, and I went overseas. And I wondered to myself, being a US-born citizen, if Donald Trump succeeds in his plan, and actually it's not just Donald Trump, even the GOP, Mr. Ted Cruz, has similar legislation that he wants to approve, I wonder if they're going to allow me to come back home to America. Would they allow me to come back home to the place that I grew up? Are they going to rescind my citizenship? Am I going to have to claim asylum and become a refugee in another country because I can't go home just because I say that I'm a Muslim? These are questions that I think the American public needs to think about. And I remember when I was doing my service in the US Navy, and I used to see soldiers, fallen soldiers, come home every single day, because I used to do the ceremonies at Arlington National Cemetery. And when doing this, I remember seeing some names that came across there that didn't sound quite American. These were Muslim soldiers that were fighting. These were Spanish soldiers that were fighting. These were African American soldiers that were fighting. These were people of different nationalities, different races, different ethnicities, that were all fighting on the same side, fighting to uphold what America stands for: the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech, the freedom of all of these things that we took for granted growing up. And now I challenge the American public to look past this fear-mongering. And I ask that you go ahead and you come down to one of those local mosques, okay? One of those local mosques that you have those American Muslims. And just tell them, listen, I would like to know who Muslims are. And I guarantee you, you will have the most hospitable welcome you have ever seen of a group of people. They really want to get to know you. They really want you to get past the fear, and they really want you to know that they love America just as much as you. So I challenge all of you to go ahead and set aside your fear and go ahead and challenge these stereotypes that are being perpetuated by Mr. Trump, Mr. Cruz, and the rest of the GOP. And I look forward to hopefully one day being able to come back home to beautiful America after my duty is done here. And I hope that it'll be a welcome and I won't have to go through a lot of trouble trying to come back home. Thank you very much. May the peace of Almighty God, the Creator, be upon all of you. And in the greetings of the Muslims, I will say Assalamu alaikum.